Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Noob Talk. And yes, you're not seeing things, but yep, we finally hit the double digits. Noob Talk episode 10. You know, it's funny, I was talking about this the other day to some of my mates that I can't believe that I'm already doing the 10th episode. It's weird because when I think about it, it feels like yesterday I did episode 1 when we were talking about what was back then Zelda Wii U and what would be available in the game, or when it came to the E3 predictions, or just a little after that when we were talking about some of our best games at E3, the cancellation of Disney Infinity, Marvel vs Capcom 4 and the characters I would like to see in that game, or most recently when we were talking about FIFA 17, its new story mode and what that means for the future of the sports genre. So I'm really happy to see Noob Talk has made it this far, and I look forward to producing even more episodes in the future in the coming weeks. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about some video games topics. That's what Noobs Talk's all about. And this week I want to touch on upgraded consoles. So there was a little talk, discussions, rumblings in the lead up to E3, and there was some confirmation at E3 and there wasn't either. Now you might be thinking, hey Liban, what the hell are you talking about? You're not making any sense. All I gotta say to you is hold up. I will explain to you in just a moment. But what I'm really talking about right now in upgraded consoles is the Xbox Scorpio, which was actually talked about at the Microsoft briefing at E3 2016, and the PlayStation 4 Neo, or is it the PlayStation 4 4K, or is it the PlayStation 4 Forever? That last one I made up, by the way. The last one I made up, that's not a real title. So essentially what this is all about is it's new upgraded consoles of your base console standard of the PS4 and Xbox One. Right now, not much is known from the PS4 side. So what we'll be talking about more at this moment in time is Project Scorpio. That was actually talked about at E3. So Project Scorpio, according to Xbox, will be the most powerful console ever created. 6 teraflops of power, 4K gaming, and high fidelity virtual reality. So for most of us, some of those stats probably won't make sense to us. We just like video games, we just like to play them. So since we actually want to understand what we're buying, and since this is Noob Talk, let's condense that into a form that's more easily understandable. So 6 teraflops of power in a games console, that's kind of unheard of. That's pretty powerful for a games console. And so just to make things more understandable, here's a graph I can show you of the current power that you can see from a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. We won't really look at the part that says PlayStation 4 Neo because that hasn't been confirmed yet, but we will be using the Xbox Scorpio piece of information on the graph as well. So just by looking at this graph right now, the Xbox One Scorpio compared to the base PlayStation 4, which is currently the most powerful console on the market, beats it by an extra 4.16 teraflops of power. So what this means to us really is that all this extra power could go into making sure the games that we play on the console run better, look better, and play much better than ever before. Now, we talk about these consoles and their extra power, and what it seems to me is that this is really necessary for VR. Xbox has their HoloLens and the PlayStation has their PlayStation VR. And if you really want to see that true experience, a lot of this extra power will be necessary. I myself have had the opportunity to try some of these VR experiences on the console at different events, and one thing I have to say is that the base consoles, if you are looking for some serious VR gaming, it's not enough. And for us gamers, you know, playing with a gimmick, it's not a cool thing to do. So these powerful consoles in that regard, I believe, is necessary. In regards to 4K gaming, I don't believe many people actually own a 4K compatible TV or even a 4K screen. And so while it will be great to be able to play in 4K, don't get me wrong, higher pixel count, more colors, again, how many of us really own the technology to do it? I remember back then a couple of years ago when HD came out, 720p, 1080p, 1080i, and you saw how high those prices were back then. So again, I believe it will take a couple of years for the tech for 4K to be able to be produced a lot more cheaply, and then the prices will come down. Going quickly back to the whole power difference between the consoles, for me personally, unless the difference is of a significant standard, which from here it seems to be so, I don't see a reason to actually buy a whole new console. However, for some people, I guess even the slightest difference will convince them to empty out that wallet, and that's okay too. I could see that with all this extra power, I do expect a lot more from the games that are going to be played. I believe that right now, for some studios that are producing games for example, the PlayStation 4, it is of a really high quality. So I expect when they bring out these upgraded consoles that the games that are developed for them and are brought to the market, I expect them to blow my mind. I expect it to be amazing. I expect it to be my eyes to go back into the back of my head. Hopefully not that last bit, actually. I don't want my eyes to go into the back of my head. I actually don't want that to happen. Anyway, let me know what you all think about the upgraded consoles. Will you be picking one up? Let me know in the comments section below, or let's keep the conversation going. You can tweet me over at Twitter at the Liban Ali, or follow me on Instagram at _Liban. As always, please do like and share the video, and lastly and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. It's easy, super easy. Just click on the button below the video, or if you want, click on the subscriber logo in the video itself. It'll take you to the main channel where you'll be able to subscribe and be notified of when I have a new video, which is always right now at least one video a week, because that's how I just roll. Once again, I'm glad to have seen Noob Talk episode 10. This has been interesting so far. The journey's been a fun one, and I expect to be here on Noob Talk 50, heck, Noob Talk 100. That would be interesting because I'm not sure what I'd be talking about for another 90 episodes. As always, that's the end of this week's Noob Talk. My name is Liban Ali. I'll be catching you next time. And so until then, stay free, you noobs.